Thank you so much, Excellence, for the introduction and all the ministers on both countries. We are very happy to be here to see you, Excellency, and we are grateful that you invited me to come over to pay you a visit after many, many years of not seeing each other. The last time we were able to meet was during the Commonwealth, which was held 2 years ago, where we also were able to renew our friendship. I am happy that today we are coming here with the greetings from Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, the government, and all the people of Eswatini, to yourself, the First Ladies, and the government, and all the people of Uganda. We are here to really strengthen our cooperation, and I believe as African countries, members of many international organizations, including the African Union, we have to know each other, we have to understand each other, and the only way we can do this is by making such visits like this one. And what we are doing is that we are hoping that going forward, the two countries can establish some ways and means of communication on an annual basis, because the meeting on once in a while, then in between you forget almost everything that we have agreed. I think we need to look at that, and I think for all African countries to make progress in a lot of things, as we are confronted by many, many challenges, including climate change, poverty, job creation, health issues, education, getting the transfer of technology into our countries. We need to work together, as you are saying, Your Excellency, that if we work together, we partner together, there's a lot we can do. When we move together, we can move a long way. But if one country moves on its own, it cannot go too far. So it is absolutely critical that we establish structures to see how our two countries can cooperate in a lot of areas and so on. You rightly touched upon that in Africa we have a lot to offer to the world, and unfortunately, with all this natural resource, which is our God-given products, we are unable to produce it properly. But with the more understanding and more educated of Africans, now we understand that let's make use of these natural resources to our advantage. For a long time, most of these resources are exploited by companies from beyond our continent and so on. But now that we have mastered a lot of technology and a lot of expertise, I believe as Africans, if there is an expertise here in Uganda, which we do not have in Eswatini, or likewise, if we have expertise in Eswatini and there is none in Uganda, we should share those kind of ideas, find Africans to find the African solutions. And I think going in that way, it will help us as African countries to make a better lifestyle within our continent. Africa is still developing, and is still at the pace of developing its economies, a lot of things, infrastructure, and so on. And sometimes, as Africans, we struggle, in particular when you want to set up any infrastructural project in terms of funding. Getting funds can always come on a small scale. Anything that comes on a small scale, don't go too far. You find that you spend years and years doing a particular project, which others end up saying, look, it has taken so many years. And I don't think it is in the interest of anyone to take forever to actually do a project. But because of the lack of funds and so on, we find ourselves that we are spending a lot of time struggling. And the challenge is, I see that all African countries, they like to struggle alone. I always say those who were here before us, when the colonialists were here, and you told us, you yourself, Excellency, you were part of those group who fought colonialists. You were united, and you could have not achieved a lot if you were not united. Regardless that you didn't have any resources, there was nothing, no equipment, but the most important thing was the solidarity, to stand together. I think this time in Africa, we've all now gained our independence, but this is political independence. Now what we need economical independence. And to achieve this, it is very important that we should work together. And we appreciate the offer that you have done, especially when you are offering your neighboring countries, when yourself you have discovered some crude oil in this country, which is one of the precious things that God can give a country. To invite us to say that we want to expand the program. We don't just want to get the oil on the ground and then export it, but we want to process, building also a refinery. And the fact that you are also invite other African countries to say if they can participate, because the infrastructure of a refinery is very costly. But if it is done properly, the gains from there are also very viable. And I'm talking because I have visited places where I've seen refineries which on an annual basis, they are making a turnover of about 4 trillion US dollars. And you can imagine if we can set up a refinery which can be able to produce 4 trillion US dollars, that it means to the GDP of Africa, we are adding a lot of improvement. But these things can only work if we come together and we work together. So the thing is that we need to promote business people, entrepreneurship from both sides, from Uganda, from Eswatini, the government officials, to exchange visits, exchange a lot of information, to see what kind of investment we can exchange. Before we came here, before we came to sit down, Your Excellency, you showed us some of the products which Uganda is able to produce. And it's interesting because for a long time we've always gone beyond our continent to look for some of these products, which one of them is just right in front of us, which is electrical bus. The whole world nowadays is going green. and everyone is saying, let us not pollute the world, the places where we are. So when Uganda has now developed an electric bus, and we know how many people within Africa are still in use of buses and all of that stuff. Now we see them in other places, in Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East, America, and so on. But we don't see them a lot within our continent. And so I think it is important that let us collaborate in these structures. Now that you have developed the system of how to construct an electrical bus, let us share that information and let us also partner. You can be the producer here, and then for looking for markets, going down to the south, you can locate yourself as Eswatini becomes the location for distribution center, start as a starting point, because one has to first introduce a product to the market so that the market can really appreciate that product. And once you discover that the market is actually in appreciation of the product, then we can look at the next step of why don't you do an assembly. You start off from here and then you do an assembly plant, which will be mainly for the Southern African states, the SADC region, and so on. So that kind of cooperation we really need to build together. And we are hopeful that during our stay here, we will be able to meet as many people from here in Uganda, and to see what kind of things we need to do together, and how can we promote trade more effectively amongst our people. And also because countries have a lot of history to showcase. Here in Uganda you have the Nile. I also, when I was coming this side, I noticed that you have the mountain where there is a snow, people can go skiing, and all of that stuff. Now, if there are places like this for to promote tourists, that if we promote tourists to come from my country, from Eswatini, these are the opportunities which you'll be able to see when you visit Uganda. And even look at ways of how to, if tourists are coming, what kind of transportation? Why don't we open up routes between the two countries, from Eswatini to Kampala? We have some routes, airlines which will fly in and out, which will bring in a lot of tourists, and including cargo as well, because cargo has also a lot of place to as Africans. You find culture in Eswatini, which is for Mswati. You also find culture here in Uganda. Not so long ago, we received one of the kings from Uganda who pay us a visit, and they were showing us their culture and so on, as to how they are taking care of the culture here in Uganda. And I think we need to build on that, why don't we have like a carnival? One time we have a carnival in Uganda. The next time we go to Eswatini, we have a carnival. We bring all our societies together. They come together, they perform. And this will not just support our locals, but it has also a potential of attracting tourists from all over the world, as our aim is to not just attract local tourists or African tourists alone, but go beyond our continent, so that when they come here, because tourists are more like investors. And so we wish to promote, they always carry. We are hopeful, and they always carry. We are hopeful and confident that they will do a good job, that will always be remembered. Do a good job that will always be remembered, even going forward. So let us do more of these activities, work together, support one another. And the reason why we are here is to give support to the government. Since we arrive in this beautiful city, I've noticed the level of development, that since I was last here, there's a lot of development which has happened. Obviously, we congratulate His Excellency, which has happened. Obviously, we congratulate His Excellency. The government and the people of this country for being together, united, because anything that happens in a country, it's all because all of them are united, working together. And we want to say that we really appreciate this kind of development, and of course our program will also allow us to see more and more things. Some of the things which we are seeing here, we'll be able to see them live, unlike seeing them in a picture, and so that we can get also more and more information. And we also take this opportunity. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the summit of the non-aligned, and as well as the group 77 plus China. I was unable, but the Prime Minister and together with the Minister, they were here to represent the kingdom. Since I was not here personally, I wish to congratulate you as the chairman of both of these organizations. I am sure with your wise leadership, you will guide these very, very important organizations to greater heights, Excellency.
Thank you so much. I think my Eswatini is improving now. Because actually I was not thinking quickly. It is interesting, the Lifa. I don't know how you, Eswatini, you turned it upside down. Because here, I remember now, Ifa means famine. In our language here, Ifa means famine. When there's so much hunger, it's called Ifa. So I can see the Swatini say opposite of famine now is prosperity.
Absolutely.
Then the Bayete, now I can see that it is actually connected, because as I said, ba, to be, ba, okuba is to be. So in our language here, we politically, on the political rallies, you say, aveo, it is the same. The Bayete, aveo, it's the same. So I am improving in my Eswatini. If I think now let's go to Kuria. Kuria. In the Kuria, we are not going to make speeches. We shall just Kuria and just enjoy ourselves and listen to the music.
Right.
Siabong.
Siabong. Asante, asante.
Thank you.
With your permission, Your Excellency, permit me. I am Okello Riem. I'm the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, in charge of international relations of the Republic of Uganda. Permit me here to read the communique. On the occasion of the state visit of His Majesty King Mswati III, King of the Kingdom of Eswatini, to the Republic of Uganda from the 14th to the 16th of August 2024. At the invitation of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, His Majesty King Mswati III of the Kingdom of Eswatini undertook a state visit to Uganda from the 14th to the 16th of August 2024, accompanied by Ishontaki Make Lamashwamama, Senator Felite Shakatu, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Her Royal Highness Princess Lindiwe, Honorable Monkoba Komalo, Minister of Commerce and Industry and Trade, and a high-level delegation. His Majesty King Mswatini was received by His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at the VVIP airport in Entebbe. The two heads of states renewed their historical, friendly, and diplomatic relations and expressed satisfaction with the long-standing bilateral relations and unwavering cooperation that exists between our two brotherly countries. The heads of states reaffirmed the commitment to continue advancing and strengthening this relationship between the two countries and their people. The two heads of states had an opportunity to discuss issues of mutual interest in areas of agriculture, transport, mining, trade, investment, science and technology, and strengthening our bilateral relations. In transport and infrastructure, the two heads of states called upon the two sides to expedite the cooperation process regarding creation of a hub by the Kingdom of Eswatini for marketing Motors Corporation, Kayola EVS, electric buses to the SADC region using the advantage of the Maputo Harbour area. The Mining Minister, His Majesty King Mswatini, indicated the mining activities in the Kingdom of Eswatini and further expressed interest in benefiting Uganda's experience in large-scale production, artisanal and small-scale mining operations, including ores and copper, amongst others. In the agricultural sector, both parties agreed to promote cooperation between organizations and businesses, entities, Uganda and the Kingdom of Eswatini, operating in the field of agriculture, specifically supporting the areas of mechanization of agricultural works, seeds production, phytosanitary and veterinary control, animal husbandry, technology, and science activities. The two heads of states preside over the signing of the following. The two heads of states are to preside over the following memoranda of understandings and agreement. The first one is the Memorandum of the General Cooperation Agreement on the establishment of a Joint Permanent Commission of Cooperation, JPC. The second memorandum is MOU on cooperation in the agricultural field. The two heads of states exchange views on regional peace and security issues. They reaffirmed their commitment to working together in pursuit of sustainable peace, stability, and economic development on the continent. The two heads of states underscored the importance of peace and security in the region, integration agenda, and reiterated their commitment to continue working together on matters affecting peace and security within the region. Both parties noted with satisfaction the converging positions regarding relevant issues of international agenda. They reiterated their commitment to multilateral systems and to working together in the framework of the United Nations and other international bodies, including non-aligned movements, the G77, and China, to achieve the vision outlined in the United Nations Charter. His Majesty King Mswatini III reiterated congratulatory remarks to His Excellency President Museveni for the AU decision to accord to Uganda regarding hosting the humanitarian agencies. His Majesty King Mswatini III of the Kingdom of Eswatini expresses appreciation to His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda for the warm reception and hospitality accorded to him and the delegation of the Kingdom of Eswatini during the visit. His Majesty King Eswatini III extended an invitation to His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to pay a state visit to Uganda to the Kingdom of Eswatini at a date mutually agreed upon and communicated through diplomatic channels. Done in Entebbe, Uganda, this 14th day of August 2024. This ends the end of the communique.